The Minnesota Vikings have an A1 wide receiver in Justin Jefferson, or 1A, whatever you want to say. He's a superstar. He's a guy that you know you're going to have in the organization, or you hope you're going to have him in the organization for a long time. He's your leader of all your receivers. After him, you got KJ Osborne, who's a reliable guy. We've seen some aging signs of Adam Thielen. Jalen Nailor has shown some stuff. Jalen Reagor, at times, I guess. But overall, I think the Vikings should consider drafting a wide receiver in the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft. And this year, giving you our top 10 of the receivers, this isn't necessarily in any particular order. This is just me putting the names out here, kind of just showing you what we've seen. So Quentin Johnston there at TCU in this year, he got 60 passes for 1,069 yards and 6 touchdowns. I think he's a guy that you can confidently say there's some things to work with. I think he's a guy, he's tall, he's a long strider. He'll go up and get the football. I think he's got huge upside, as well as the ability to really get some yak. He's got some sneaky yards after catch ability. You'll see him a lot on his highlight tape and really just in tape in general, being able to catch those short curl routes and being able to turn them into big gains. So I think he's also got a lot of upside, like we talked about, with his size, 6'4", 215, 220. I think he's fast enough to be able to keep defenses honest as well. So I think he's the number one guy right now. I don't even think it's a debate. Probably going to go top 15, but if he falls, I think the Vikings could be in a good position to get him. Number 2 is Jalen Hyatt, the wide receiver coming up out of Tennessee, a guy that had 67 catches for 1,267 receiving yards, as well as 15 touchdowns. He is a burner. He's a speedster, man. Arguably, I would say he is the best deep threat in this entire draft. Consistently beats the double team. I like what he brings in terms of also, just being kind of a gadget player. Some things you can do with him as well. I think he's definitely a player you're going to want to keep an eye on. I think these first 4 guys you could potentially see go in the first round. Jackson Smith-Njigba out of Ohio State. He caught 5 passes for 43 yards. Caveat though, this was only in 3 games. He dealt with a hamstring injury, but last year, man, he was an absolute man. That's right. I really felt like he is going to only get better in the NFL. You got to keep in mind, this guy is only a junior from what I remember. So he's going to be, in that 6 foot to a 200-pound range. But he was a junior this year. Last year, he caught 95 catches for over 1,600 yards and 9 touchdowns. And keep in mind, that was also, when they had guys like Garrett Wilson and company that were just dominant. So the fact that he was able to put up those numbers in that kind of a company, I don't really put the injury on him. I mean, injuries are what they are. I think he's going to come back and do a lot of good things could do a lot of good things for the Vikings, Also, Jordan Addison, formerly of Pitt, transferred to USC and caught 59 passes for 875 yards and 8 touchdowns. I think Jordan Addison is a dude. I really like what he brings to the table, just in terms of not only athleticism, but I think he's got great hands. He's shifty. He's got great body control, and I think he's consistently a big play guy that you can expect to continue to do things for your offense. Josh Downs out of North Carolina, who caught 94 passes for 1,029 yards and 11 touchdowns. Josh Downs, speedster, great acceleration, and you'll see him lay out for just about every catch because every play is the Alamo for Josh Downs. I really think he is going to be a guy that really does stretch NFL defenses, and I think you could also see what he can do in some punt and kickoff return ability as well. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. Rashid Rice out of SMU, he caught 96 passes for 1,355 yards for 10 touchdowns as well. He's a guy that when you watch him, he's a go up and get it. He's a big play machine. I think that there's a lot of things you could work on with him, getting him in probably the 3rd to 4th round and just kind of developing him from there. But I do think he could be a number 1 guy in the NFL someday. I just think he needs a little bit of work on kind of developing that route tree. As well as Marvin Mims, he's a guy that is in my mind pretty impressive. I consider him to be the guy in this draft that wins in the phone booth. He's coming out of Oklahoma, 54 catches, 1,083 yards and 6 touchdowns. I would argue that him and Jalen Hyatt are the 2 best deep threats in this draft, like for real, because you look at him on tape, he wins in double coverage. He shows the punt return ability, just deep threat, a deep throw after deep throw that he would catch, and I just think there's a lot of upside with a guy like Marvin Mims. He's just a speedster. You love to see it. Nathaniel Tank Dell. Man, this guy coming out of Houston, I mean, other than the production, 109 catches, 1,398 yards, and 17 touchdowns. I mean, other than the name, you got to love him. Great acceleration. He explodes on tape and he always finds the end zone. I know that's 17 touchdowns. Well, obviously he finds the end zone, but no, like he does the extra little bit to be able to get him in the end zone, and I think that's what will help a lot of NFL teams. Also, he has punt return ability. I think he could be definitely give you a spark for your team in that regard. Zach Flowers there, who in my mind is going to be definitely a lot of fun to watch coming out of Boston College. He had 78 catches for over 1,000 yards this year, as well as 12 touchdowns for Boston College. I really think he tracks the ball well. I would argue that he's probably one of the best. He tracks the ball better than just about anybody in this draft. He's got great speed and acceleration. He can be a spark for your offense, or if you need it in the punt return as well. I think Zach Flowers is going to be a name you're going to want to keep an eye out for. Then finally, Xavier Hutchinson. Coming up out of Iowa State, he caught 107 passes for 1,171 yards and 6 touchdowns this last year. He's a one-on-one winning machine. He wins most battles when he's in those phone booth type situations. He's strong over the middle. I would like to see more of a development in terms of his intermediate route running, but I think that's something that obviously when you get him into your building and everything, you're going to develop him. So I definitely think that that's something that I want to keep an eye on. But when we talk about first-round wide receivers, I really feel like it's going to be Johnston, Hyatt, Smith-Njigba, and Addison are going to be the Vikings' best 4 options there in the first round. Most likely, I would say that Jackson Smith-Njigba probably will be there, but I think the Vikings are in a place where, if they can get Johnston to fall that far, if they can get Addison, if they can get Hyatt or a JSN in that to fall to 23, I would be okay with it. I think he would provide an immediate upgrade for the Vikings at that number 2 wide receiver spot, or number 1B wide receiver spot. So, but let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are absolutely awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. So give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about if the Minnesota Vikings should draft a wide receiver in the first round.